Welcome to this episode on eutrophication. But first things first, let's talk about the sort of word origin, the background of the word eutrophication. Now, hands up if there's any Greek students watching this video or any linguists. Well, I have you know that eutrophication derives from the word eutrophos. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation there. And it refers to well nourished. Now, well nourished, although it sounds like a good thing, eutrophication has very poor, negative, fatal consequences ecologically to like the river, the grass, the lot, and it's a form of water pollution. So let's tie in the word nourishment and nourish. Like, what does it refer to? Well, it refers to the agricultural practice, the idea of using fertilizers. If you watched my previous video on crop yield, fertilizer was a way of enhancing crop yield, isn't it? If you have nitrate ions, if I write over here, nitrate ions, which I comically referred to the opposite of day rate, it's nitrate, is important for protein. So that's a good idea, isn't it? Phosphates, phos and then 8, obviously it's referring to phosphate. Phosphate ions are important for DNA, ATP, amongst others, other fertilizers. Although they're good, the excess could leach off to the river supply and it can cause a bunch of events to occur. So let's get started. So nitrate ions, phosphate ions, in other words, fertilizers and pesticides, which are chemical agents to which pests are destroyed, they can leach into the river supply. So here's my river supply, and let's say I've got these nitrate ions, these phosphate ions, these fertilizers. If they leach into the river supply or water, there's going to be a problem. Now, does anyone know what's actually on the river supply? A lot of like, it's a green substance, unicellular. It sounds like that, you know, topic in a maths, X and Y's, yes, exactly, algae. So algae, or these sort of green blooms, algae, I said algae there. Algae can develop. Okay, these algae bloom can develop because they're going to use the leaching of these fertilizers. They're going to use these chemicals to promote growth. So the algae is going to grow and it forms an algae bloom. So an algae bloom forms. Now, that's a bit of a problem because once that bloom forms, one process is inhibited. So let's just go below here. This is the river, by the way. It's a river represented by these lines, and underneath you've got these underwater plants. So we've got underwater plants and it's represented in a different shade of green, different hue of green. Now, what process do you reckon is inhibited? Inhibited meaning halted or stopped. Here's my clue. This is my attempt of the sun. Exactly. Photosynthesis is inhibited. So once that, once those fertilizers, once those pesticides leach, algae bloom forms, it's going to block sunlight. So next event, blocks sunlight or blocks light. Now these plants, these underwater plants, cannot receive that light. So they cannot photosynthesize. Okay, so step 1, leach. Step 2, bloom. Step 3, blockage of light. Step 4, photosynthesis. No photosynthesis, because obviously light is blocked. Now, what's going to happen now? Clearly these plants are going to wilt. These plants are going to die. What feeds on decaying and dying material? Any ideas? They tend to be fungi, they tend to be bacteria. Exactly, decomposers. But can anyone give me a technical word for them? Begins with S. It's a type of nutrition. Uses enzymes to digest and absorb such decaying material. Exactly, saprobionts. So the thing is, once the plants die because of the lack of photosynthesis, decomposes they digest the material. Decomposers, or as I mentioned before, saprobionts, they're going to digest the plants that are dying, you know, the decaying plants, and so on and so forth. Now, what's so special about them is they're aerobically respiring. I repeat, they're aerobically respiring. So here's a quick fire question. What sort of respiration is aerobic respiration? Exactly, if you said something along the lines of a respiration that uses oxygen, you're spot on. So if these bacteria, if these decomposers digest the material and they're aerobically respiring, they're going to use up the oxygen, aren't they? So they use the oxygen from the water. And they rarely deplete it. They actually deplete the oxygen levels. They reduce it to the extent that you could describe the river over here, let's say step number 8, it being anoxic. Okay? Now, we talked about the plants. We haven't talked about the trout, the sea bass, the haddock, all these types of fish, have we? The salmon. Now, if there's less oxygen levels or reduced oxygen levels, the fish are going to die. So fish die. So these fish over here, represented by these sort of elongated alpha symbols, meant to be fish. The fish die because they cannot aerobically respire. So we'll go for purple here. They cannot respire, hence they die. So there we go. So this is the process of eutrophication. This would be my mic drop moment, essentially. Eutrophication starts off with the fertilizers leaching. Secondly, algae bloom forming, blockage of light, plants cannot photosynthesize, the plants dying, the decomposers aerobically respiring to further digest and decay material, decompose them, uses the oxygen, river is anoxic, the fish die because they cannot respire. And that's eutrophication. I've got a question in the next slide here, and have a go. So it says, explain the consequences of fertilizer containing nitrate that are polluting the river. So 6 marks, I give you 5 minutes. Let's work under pressure. So 5 minutes to answer this question. Please use the comment section in the YouTube, just below the YouTube video, and type your answers, because let's grow a community of mark scheme merchants here, and everyone writing answers, because a lot of people watch videos and just watch it for the sake of it. Let's have a productive lesson in a way, you know. So use the comment section below, and yeah, crack on. All the best. And in 1, 2, 3, I'm going to pause. Well, you're going to pause essentially, and you're going to answer the question. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'm about to show the mark scheme, and the mark schemes shows the following. So if you mention nitrates, well done. It dissolves or leaches, get a mark for that. Hands up if you mention algae bloom, or the algae would promote its own growth because of the leaching of it, of the the minerals and the nitrates and fertilizer. Yes, excellent. Block its light, plants cannot die in photosynthesis, cannot occur. If you took the avenue of the fungi and the bacteria decomposing, and the fact they're aerobically respiring, and that reduces the water oxygen levels, so it's anoxic, well done. The fish die, and then if you name dropped it at the end, with the process becoming well known as eutrophication. Excellent. Just to summarize in 4 words, eutrophication, it would be this. Okay. Number 1, it'd be leach. Actually, let's make it 5 words. Algae. This is my attempt of a photo, so photosynthesis. Well, attempt of a camera drawing. Respiration. Decomposes. So if you can string a paragraph with these keywords and link them to each other, it's happy days. It really is happy days. All the best. Please do comment, like, and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Good luck in tomorrow's exam, or the exam just an hour before this, or whenever the exam is. Yeah, all the best. Take care.